Welcome to round one of the 2006 ITU Triathlon World Cup Series. This week, the world's best triathletes will be racing in Doha, Qatar. The course works its way through the historic markets of the Old Souk and the Al Corniche Boulevard. Doha is one of the fastest growing cities in the Middle East. Doha combines world-class amenities with reminders of its historical past.
Hi, I'm Barry Shepley, former Olympic coach, and pleased to be joining you today for the start of the World Cup season. It's a 2-lap swim followed by 5 laps on this 8-kilometer, very technical downtown course. The athletes will come off the bike at the end of 40 kilometers, and then it's a start of 3 laps, 10 kilometers total on the run. We are looking at a very hot and humid day here in Doha.
I've been told that it's harder to stay at number one than it is to get to number one, so I guess there are people out there always trying to knock you off, but that's something that you just have to get used to. And I think an important thing for me is just to always not become too confident, and just to keep a really high level of respect, I guess, for racing itself, because it's not easy, and for the other athletes. There's always something coming through that you didn't expect, so I think just having respect for the racing. I think it's just approaching it exactly the same way as I did last year. I'm not sure if the goal would be exactly the same this year, to be consistent and do well in each World Cup again, and that's going to be really hard to do it a second time. There's always so many great girls, and there'll be new girls coming through, people that I haven't raced last year, and so same goal. I think ultimately, if I do want to do well in the World Cup Series and in each race, I need to be able to race and do well in races by approaching each race a different way and with different strategies.
I don't see myself as the leader type. You know, I've always enjoyed having the older girls on the circuit, and not necessarily older in age, but they got into the sport a little sooner in the sense of World Cup racing and things. But yeah, I mean, we've got some good single sport girls coming through, and you know, it takes 10 years to get the experience. So I'm happy to give back where I can and try to pull them along, you know, and I think the best way to do that is probably to set the example, and that's what I've always found with the US women. You know, they're always at the top, and all it does is make you more motivated to take them off the top. So that makes you a better athlete in the end.
I destroyed the rest of my season, because I was in altitude before Hamburg, and after the crash I was so angry, and I tried to train hard, and then I yeah, I destroyed the rest of my season. I was very bad at the World Championship and the after races, but my body is okay, and yeah. I think for the early season it's very good for me because in Germany it was so cold and we only was 3 weeks in South Africa, and I haven't trained a lot on the bike, and so the flat course is good. And yes, I think that my running is okay for the moment, and swimming I hope so too, and so I will see what happens, but I hope I'm in good shape and can do a good race.
The Qatar Triathlon Federation was established by Sheikh Khalid bin Ali Al Thani. China has brought its largest ever team along with other Asian countries.
As the athletes go through their final preparation, the crowd has made its way down to the waterfront. When the elite women start to head out, it's Annabelle Luxford, last year's #1, back again. Laura Bennett, the 3-time world medalist. Julie Swale, Corner Brooks silver medalist from last year, and the 4-time bronze medalist, Joel Franzman, all heading out to start the pontoon. Taking a look at the mascot for the 2006 Asian Games, where over 10,000 athletes will be racing here in Doha later in December. Annabelle Luxford just days before heading off to the Commonwealth Games. This will be her final preparation race. With the exception of Annabelle Luxford, most of the athletes will be coming off a long off-season of base, and today will really be difficult to understand just where their speed may be. 30-plus women on the pontoon. The Chinese are here with a very large contingent. And it is off. It is a 2-lap, 1,500-meter swim. And we have to believe that the American Laura Bennett will likely take it out very quickly. In pre-race interviews, we know that Annabelle Luxford was planning to get away, and Joel Franzman's goal was just to get on the feet of the American athlete. You can see a number of athletes taking off to the side. It will be a rectangular swim, 250 meters down before they go around the first of the swim pontoons. And as we had anticipated, immediately it is Laura Bennett as she goes into the lead, and just on her feet is #1, Annabelle Luxford. Sung from Korea just off to the side. The Koreans have attracted a number of top swimmers that they're trying to develop into world-class triathletes. And Joel Franzman right now, and Julie Swale, the American water polo player, sitting back in 3rd and 4th. Bennett taking the pace out very quickly right now, and you can see that she is starting to string the athletes out. The swim preem will come at the end of lap #1. It'll be 2-lap swim, and they'll come right back onto the pontoon to go back out for their second lap. As our cameras start to zone in, you can see the difference between Laura Bennett in the lead and a much faster turnover of Annabelle Luxford sitting back in 2nd. Bennett has spent the Australian winter with her husband, Greg Bennett. And the American athlete right now will have to pick up the mantle from Sheila Taormina and Barb Lindquist, who have retired over the winter. Looking back to Joel Franzman, who is trying to hang on to the feet of Annabelle Luxford, and as our trio of women approach the 550-meter mark, they are starting to differentiate themselves from the pack behind. They'll be coming back towards the pontoon and are on a very quick pace right now, just over 9 minutes, so they'll be under 19 minutes if they keep this pace up. And it is American Laura Bennett up the ramp first, and she will be the first to win the swim preem for 2006. Looking over her shoulder back into the water, just behind Annabelle Luxford. Franzman, Sung from Korea, Julie Swale back into the water right there. So we have a distinct pack of 5 athletes coming out. Looking back into the athletes 10 through 15 right now as they're coming out of the water. Pip Taylor just coming out right there. Tanya Hubrick from Austria as well, and they are about 25 seconds behind. A great shot right there of the American Bennett. She actually looked like she froze for a second to adjust her bathing suit, and she is such a confident swimmer that she's able to make those adjustments right in the middle of the swim. Sung off to the top of the screen, the Korean swimmer, and it is a new pack of athletes trying to debut here in 2006 as they are keeping the distance from each other and right now keeping a very solid pace. Franzmann, number 4 right now, sitting in 3rd place, and the German athlete really did not know what to expect after coming from the cold of her native country. It's number 1, Annabelle Luxford, and moving up to the swim preem leader, and right now continuing to push the pace. The American athlete has started the season off the way she has the last couple of years, and she is really moving early on here in this 1,500-meter swim. The most significant thing missing from Laura Bennett's trophy case is a world championship title. 2003, she was a silver medalist. 2004 and 2005, a bronze medalist. 3 World Cup victories. It's just a world championship title she needs to add to the trophy case now. But she is having a hard time getting away from Sung from Korea, Franzmann from Germany, and Annabelle Luxford from Australia, as that group of 4 are just past the 1,200-meter mark. They are now late into our 1,500-meter swim. And first up onto the pontoon, as she has done so many times before, Laura Bennett looking over her shoulder, and Annabelle Luxford moving very quickly through the top of the pontoon back towards the bike. Sung from Korea just coming into the screen right there, but the 2 women who have done this a number of times in the past right now are coming towards their bike just over 19:37. Included in that group, Julie Swale, Sarah Gruff from the United States of America coming towards her bike as well, Jasmine Onik, and the 2 French athletes, Carol Pion and Jessica Harrison, but is right in the middle of the screen, Annabelle Luxford with a very quick transition, helmet on, and she'll be first to go off to the bike right there. It is 5 laps, 40 kilometers, and as they try to get onto the bike to make sure they're established, it is Annabelle Luxford taking off with Franzmann and Bennett very close behind.
Confirmation of the swim result. Bennett from the USA was first with 19 minutes and 37 seconds. A group of Luxford, Sung, Franzmann, Swale were on her heels. France is well represented in the lead pack with Harrison and Pion.
Our women working very well in the early stages of this 5-lap, 40-kilometer bike ride, and it's extremely flat, so just the corners they have to worry about. Julie Swale in the lead and just passing off to Annabelle Luxford, and right now the women are working very well on each other's wheel, taking 5 or 6 second pulls. Jessica Harrison in the blue and white, and number 2, Laura Bennett, just taking her lead. Very impressive riding right now by these women, and they are starting to pull away from the chase pack from behind. American Sarah Gruff, who led out of the water at the Madrid World Cup race last year in her debut, is up into this lead pack and working with Siri Lindley from the United States, so the young American learning from a 2-time world champion. Many corners and roundabouts, and again back up to a view of Sarah Gruff, who in just her 2nd year on the World Cup circuit has started to establish her swim bike skills. With Jessica Harrison and Carol Pion, 2 French athletes into this lead group. 2 of the Chinese athletes into this lead group as well, and as we said, the Chinese team have come here looking to make 2006 a breakout year for their squad. Joel Franzmann, number 4, who is well known in the lead group, and as she pushes the pace, the 2-time Olympian from Germany, 4th at the 2004 World Championships. She has had 4 bronze medals in World Cup, but never able to get any higher. And with 2 German championships under her belt, you know she is a very experienced woman. We're going by the Emir's Palace right now, so the historic sights of Qatar in the backdrop. And Jessica Harrison now just taking over the lead, and Julie Swale on her wheel. What was just 20 plus seconds out of the water is continuing to grow to a 1 minute plus gap on the chase athletes, and this lead group, much larger than we would have anticipated, is working very, very efficiently together. Harrison has not been able to break through with major performances yet on the International World Cup squad, but her fitness over the winter suggests that this might be a year for her. One of our young Chinese athletes who had a great swim, and Pion from France just taking the lead right there as the women all are doing their fair share. Sometimes we've seen large packs like this and only 1 or 2 women doing the work at the front, causing a frustration. But today, all 10 of the women in this lead group are taking their fair share. It'll be the bike preem at the end of the second lap, and the athletes will start to line themselves up as they come around the roundabout and start to head back towards the bike preem. Harrison continuing to lead as she comes through the transition zone. Franzman just on her wheel as well, with now a gap in excess of 65 seconds. Julie Swale, the former silver medalist at the Olympic Games for water polo in 2000, made a very solid transition over to the sport of triathlon and has been dealing with a little bit of a foot injury. And there goes the bike preem, and it looks like Laura Bennett may have claimed her first bike preem to go along with her swim preem. So it has been a great day already for the American Laura Bennett. Many of the athletes and federations a little nervous to come to the Middle East for the first time, and they have been very pleasantly surprised with side trips off to see the camel races and a great chance to see all of the sights of the Qatari neighborhoods, including an amazing sport complex that'll be used for the Doha Asian Games. And that's Annabelle Luxford saying, "It's time to help me out here, girls. I've been in the lead for long enough." Luxford and Brad Caulfield, along with Simon Thompson, deciding to come to Qatar for their final preparations before the Commonwealth Games, where Peter Robertson and Emma Snowsill decided to stay home in their final preparations. Sarah Gruff, number 16, back into the scene. She has continued to play her part in this league group through our inaugural race here of 2006. Another look at the bike of Annabelle Luxford, and one of our young Japanese competitors taking her pull out the front. And what a beautiful shot through a spring day here in Qatar as the elite women are having their first chance to race in this beautiful city. Our chase group number 2 coming up, and in there a couple of the Chinese athletes, including the Austrian athlete Tanja Hubrecht, and one of our athletes have gone down. The Australian Maxine Sears seems to be frustrated. She's gone down just coming into the triathlon transition zone, and her day is going to be over.
Yeah, just up there. Yeah, we all got wheels stuck in the little and all on top of each other.
A little bit of rubber on the road, and unfortunately her day is over as our lead group come back into the scene. They'll be heading back towards the triathlon transition zone, and we are now once again looking at a very, very fine-tuned group. They're going for preem number 2, and it looks like Franzman is up. She's working very hard, and just coming into the screen, Laura Bennett, the winner of the first of the preems. But Annabelle Luxford showing her very, very strong competitive side as she pushes the pace to go back under, and it'll be Luxford winning the second bike preem. So Bennett the swim, Bennett the first bike preem, but the second bike preem will go to Annabelle Luxford. The women will be finishing up their 4th lap and one last lap to see if they're able to extend their lead over the chase group, who now are over 75 seconds behind, and no matter how good a runner you are, you're going to have a hard time making up 75 seconds on the likes of Franzman, Bennett, and Luxford. The road, a combination of cement, tile, and as the women come back into the transition zone, it'll be one final lap, 8 kilometers, before they head out onto the start of their 3-lap, 10-kilometer run, and the 28-degree heat is continuing to rise, so a little bit of heat and humidity problem. And now we're back again looking at our chase group, and they are almost 85 seconds down. Ricarda Lisk from Germany into that group, and she is a great runner, but she'll be frustrated knowing that she's almost 90 seconds down. Coming through the old section of Doha right now as the athletes will be working their way back, thinking about the final drinks before they come off the bike. Japan's Akane Furtani just taking a drink, trying to get some fluid in, and they are at the end of a very fast 1,500 meter swim, 40-kilometer bike. Jessica Harrison just coming into the screen. Julie Swale just behind her. Annabelle Luxford as well, and just coming on to the other side, that's Franzman and Laura Bennett, and they will have very fast transitions as they want to get out there and try to make as much time as they can in this first mile. Bennett out first, Franzman behind. It is a hot 10-kilometer run, and the women are well on their way.
The top 10 women headed out to start the run in just over 1 hour 24 minutes. Jasmine Onick from the USA, who crashed during the bike leg, was a further 2 minutes behind.
There's safety in numbers, and Laura Bennett is being joined very quickly by Joel Franzman and Jessica Harrison just on her backside. Bennett very confident in her running abilities as she has been able to run herself onto the podium on 3 different occasions at the World Championship level. But the woman who's moving quicker than them all with the white hat is Annabelle Luxford, who's using this race as just a final preparation before the Commonwealth Games for Australia, as she's starting to move into the lead already. Annabelle Luxford, the former 23 and under world champion, is moving very quickly right now. She was the #1 ranked woman at the end of 2005. She was second at the World Championships behind Emma Snowsill, and she has brought a lot of confidence into the start of this 2006 season. 1, 2, 3, Luxford, Bennett, and Franzman as they will take on much needed fluid throughout this 10-kilometer run. Certainly the most confident of the runners right there, Annabelle Luxford, just coming through at the completion of 1 lap down, and they are still together. So very solid running by the German athlete Franzman as she's been able to stay that close. Close-up of Laura Bennett right there as the heat starting to show on the American athlete. Even though she's been training in Australia, it is a very hot day. At the end of 2 laps, however, Annabelle Luxford starting to show her superior running ability as she has put a gap onto Franzman, who have all put a significant gap on Laura Bennett, and those 3 athletes have about another 25 to 30 seconds on 4th through 5th. 4th place Jessica Harrison right now, if she could finish in this position, it would be her best ever finish. More fluid for Luxford as she is going out onto her final run. Carol Pion from France wearing number 5, and that's the position she finds herself in. And Annabelle Luxford goes around the final turnaround as she starts to head for home. And it is only Franzman about 15 seconds back that she can see. Laura Bennett has fallen well off the pace right now, but this is fantastic running by Franzman. And as she starts to make her way back towards the finishing line, Annabelle Luxford will take a tremendous amount of confidence from this race as she heads back to Australia and Melbourne for the Commonwealth Games. And this will be the 3rd World Cup victory for this woman, her 7th podium of her career, as Australian Annabelle Luxford will take the first World Cup race of 2006, the Doha World Cup champion, 1 hour 59:36. What a great final run for the 24-year-old Australian. And the first time ever that Franzman will break the bronze medal as she kisses the ground. A silver medal for Franzman, and an amazing final run. 1:59:47, a 34-minute, 41-second run for Franzman, and bronze medal for Laura Bennett, as the American will finish on the podium as well. 4th place to Jessica Harrison, and her French teammate Carol Pion will be 5th. What a great day for France. China has shown that they've come here to be serious, as Yang from China will be the 6th athlete across the line. Happy smiles showing that all the winter work has done its job. Our 3 medalists on the day.
It's great to come here and get a win. I mean, it's quite lucky. I wouldn't like to have been an athlete coming from Europe to this race, but I live and train in Brisbane, Australia, and it's really hot there. So the only difference is it's a bit more humid, but yeah, I didn't find it too bad. It'll be a big year with a lot of races again, but I love racing and traveling, so I'm looking forward to it.
It was so nice. The first day I was so excited to be here because the people are so nice, and today it was a perfect race for me, and so everything's okay and very nice. The swim was very good, the bike was very good, and it was the first time that I could run with Annabelle so long, and now I'm second and I'm very happy.
I thought maybe I'd have a little bit more, but you don't ever know what you're going to get on the day. So it was good though. The girls were strong and we got a good effort in. Everything went off smoothly, and it's a great way to start the season. It's definitely a focus for the year, doing well on the circuit. I know there's a lot of good girls, and the best in the world are on the World Cup circuit, so that's where I want to be, and that's where I want to be on top.
Australian Annabelle Luxford starts off the season with another victory. Germany's Joel Franzmann finally gets her first ever World Cup silver medal, and Laura Bennett from the USA completes the podium, with France taking 4th and 5th place.